Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
You're listening to the best of Outdoors with Larry Ray 2019.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we continue our conversation with the best of the best here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and that we're talking about Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman. The Reelfoot is really drawn, and I think Ron may be writing something about this in the next issue of the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News. Reelfoot and you guys and other guys have really brought attention to Reelfoot and the makers of good fishermen. So
Excellent fishermen.
Talk about it, Ronnie, what it's meant for you to grow up and be in that area, and tell our listeners how you and Steve got to know each other.
Gosh, well, honestly, it was a childhood love that started there, right there at Reelfoot, and for the both of us, and really the families that we come from, and our friends too. They were connected to people that really made a living at commercial fishing, trapping, hunting, and guiding people on Reelfoot Lake for crappie fishing. So I mean, we crappie's kind of been a livelihood for a lot of people where we come from, and the techniques that they use to be successful, whether bad times and good. I mean, those techniques, that's the techniques that we've carried so far, and that's what we use today. I mean, we still do a lot of the double minnow rigging, for example, and some of the techniques and at marking things. My grandfather taught us when we were just kids, and it sticks. Even though we got some of the most technical stuff at our fingertips anymore than anybody can use, some of the old ways do help out once in a while. And,
and you and Steve, talk about how you and Ronnie got together and became part of this team.
Well, it's back in our early years. He lived on one side of the lake, and I lived on the other.
Okay.
And we just kind of got together in the middle, and like Ronnie said, we did the commercial fishing thing, and man, we've done everything in the world on that lake together. Whether it's frog hunting or turtle hunting or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But the fishing part of it, I can remember back when we were young. We would go fishing when we were so competitive that we just didn't want to catch fish. We wanted to figure out how we could catch more fish and better the ways than anybody had on that lake. And until today, even these new electronics comes out. When you got a new electronic, you think, well, what's next? How can we make this better? But that came with us, from day one. We've always been competitive and wanted to figure out how we could catch more fish. And it never stops. You lay in a bed at night time, you think about
right.
it. It's just on and on.
Well, and and that kind of competitive nature has caused other fishermen in the area become very, very good also, hasn't it?
Right, because they pick up on your ways and they learn real quick.
I look at some of the fishermen there in that area, Jeff Riddle, Tony Hughes.
Very good fishermen.
Yeah,
very
you
good
guys,
fishermen.
Billy Blakely. I mean, there are a bunch of professional crappie fishermen up there that have really done well. And I think that has to go back to the way that you guys have been competitive against each other, but also the sharing of knowledge, isn't it?
Right. The sharing of knowledge is a major part of it.
And you do that, Ronnie, too, don't you? Don't you love to interact with the fans and things?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we wouldn't tell you. It's not a lot of. There's not a lot of guns in our arsenal. I mean, really, we lean hard on a couple different techniques. That's double minnow rigging I'm talking about, and single pole jig fishing. And as far as casting, pulling sideways, there's all sorts of other long line, pushing crankbaits. There's a million other ways you can catch them, and we've done all that. Dock shooting, just to name a few. But honestly, we fall right back to a couple things that's always bread and butter for us, and that's exactly what we've done. Ross Barnett, is fish with a single jig and push it into some structure and caught some big old fish, and it won us another tournament, man. And I just love doing shallow. We're more shallow water oriented than we are deeper water. I'm classifying 10 foot or less.
Yep.
Yeah.
Being shallow water, we love to fish shallow. That's the nature. That's where we come from at Reelfoot, and that's just what we applied at Ross Barnett, man, and had a ball doing it. And can't wait till the next
Yep.
one in June at Kentucky Lake.
And, Ronnie and Steve, you guys talk about, doing things like you've always done. But one of the things I noticed about, I always go check your boats out and what do people have in them and everything. But you've been using almost the same B&M BGJP poles over the last several years. I mean, that's how good some of that stuff is, and so why change,
Man.
Right,
right?
You'd think we'd get brand new rods every time we turned around, but honestly, we've got some in the boat that's probably 10 or 12 years old. We do get new
Come
tips,
on.
but
they're B&M sponsored too.
Have y'all guys ever been in Ron Wong's kitchen? I mean, the man has half of your poles, I think, in there.
He probably does. That's the reason we don't get any.
That's right. Hey, we're talking to Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman here on Outdoors with Larry Ray, and just off a win at Ross Barnett, the American Crappie Trail. Getting ready to go in June up to Kentucky Lake. Always great to have these two guys on the show. One thing I got to ask you two guys, I kept hearing that word from Steve. I've heard it from Ronnie, competitive. Now, you guys have been at this a long time. Now, I know I'm a geezer, okay? But you guys still, to me, it seems you guys have that fire. Talk about that, Ronnie.
Well, Larry, that's just come secondhand to us. I mean, if you're gonna do it, give it all you got. That's the way we grew
Steve's
up.
lying in bed at night thinking about this. He said he's
right. If you're a race car driver or a crappie fisherman, I just think if you're gonna do it, man, try to do it right if you can. But honestly, the sport of crappie fishing is moving. It's moving forward, man, and going places. And the competitive minds are not just in mine and Steve's heads. I'm telling you, everybody's using every asset they have to try to win these things. So it does make it very, very thrilling to win again. Just win one of them. But I invite and challenge basically people that have thought about entering one of these tournaments on the ACT Trail.
Come on.
I just challenge you to come out and try it one time. I guarantee you, if you had never even fished one tournament in your life, you'll learn a ton. You're going to meet some super folks. Mm-hmm. The next one's in June in Kentucky Lake, and I'd like to see some new faces, and I'd love to tell them some stories. So, anyway.
I think that someday I'm hoping that someone will pick up this trail and put it on TV so I can watch it.
It is on TV now.
Well, I'm talking about, let's
out of the Pursuit channel.
And then I can see Ronnie Capps and Steve Coleman. Like I watched the Kentucky Derby. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. down on the track at the Kentucky Derby. Come on, give me a break. I mean, the guy, yes, the horses race in a circle, but, I can see you guys someday down the road teaching other people how to do it. And I think Ron has told me the atmosphere at these things are just unbelievable.
It is. And because one of the things that Ronnie and Steve have talked about throughout these segments here is that it's competitive. It's so competitive. And everybody is kind of like on their toes as everybody's weighing in because the scores are so close. And that's, Ronnie and Steve, it's getting harder and harder to win one of these things. And the scores really show it and the weights show it because they're so close in all these tournaments, isn't it?
And when it's close like that, it creates so much excitement. It's unreal.
That's less than a pound is typically separating the top 10.
Less than a pound, maybe.
Yeah.
So every ounce counts, and I think this
tenth of an ounce,
every tenth of
a hundredth of an ounce counts now because that's how they weigh them.
So how much is it going to take to win at Kentucky Lake?
Whoa!
Everybody gets quiet there. I mean, okay. I hear quietness. So that's not good on the radio. That's.
Oh man!
It's going to take 7 fish each day.
No, wait. Now, what'd you say, Steve? Huh?
And it's going to take 7 fish each day.
Okay, so there you go. Spoken like a true philosopher. 7 fish each day. Okay, that's all we're going to get. Well, that will be based, and what's in June.
That's middle of June there. I don't remember exactly the date. I think it's the 18th and 19th.
But it's going to be based out of where? Where's it going to be based out of? Y'all know
Paris Landing.
Paris Landing.
Landing.
Yep.
Great place. Folks, get up there. We'll post this. So we've got a lot of pictures that Ron took from the tournament. They've already been posted. I've seen them from Ross Barnett. And so go to lroutdoors.com. Read about all the information about these guys and how they won it and how the next tournament will be at Kentucky Lake. Hey, guys, we appreciate you spending some extra time with us. We'll let Steve get back in the truck, and y'all can go fishing and don't have to worry about anything. Okay, guys?
Yep, man, that sounds great. Anytime, Larry, we'd love to share what we know, man.
All right, guys, we really appreciate it. Y'all be careful. All right.
Huh.
All right, let's take a break right now. Going to continue this fishing conversation. It's hard to get better than that, though. Be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
You have been listening to Outdoors with Larry Ray, a compilation of 2019. And remember, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport, and God bless the USA.